And President Trump is declaring a major disaster for Kirk County, Texas, and activating FEMA to help. The move comes after the administration made cuts to FEMA and the National Weather Service. Let's bring in ABC contributor, former acting undersecretary for intelligence at the Department of Homeland Security, John Cohen, for more. So, John, walk us through these federal agencies and how they work together in a situation like this.
Yeah, great to be with you this morning. So when you have a major disaster, whether it's a man-made disaster such as a mass casualty attack or a hurricane, earthquake, forest fire, the first responders are the locals. But if a situation exceeds the capacity of a locality, then very quickly regional partners, state partners will come in. What we've learned is that many of these weather events, hurricanes, forest fires, floods such as this, very quickly exceed the capabilities of even the states. So in those cases, organizations like FEMA will come in and will provide support to the state, who typically will retain control of the response, but they will get additional support from the federal government. Whether it is personnel to help with rescue efforts such as the Coast Guard or the military, whether it is personnel to backfill first responders who are involved in search and rescues, whether it's working with local and private sector organizations to assess damage and to help the community recover from a major disaster such as this.
The president has said that FEMA could be eliminated as soon as December of this year, and the administration is stressing they want more to be done by the local authorities, saying essentially the local authorities know best how to help people in that area. Well, what's your response to that?
We have learned a lot over the last 25 years since September 11th. We've, as a country, had to deal with major catastrophes such as Hurricane Katrina, where we have learned that very often the effective, resilient efforts to prepare, to respond, to recover from these requires a multi-level approach. We need the federal government. And, people confuse, and I hear a lot of confusing descriptions, particularly from members of Congress, about the role of FEMA. FEMA doesn't just funnel money. Yes, they provide preparedness grants. Yes, they provide funding for response and recovery efforts. But FEMA also coordinates search and rescue teams across the country. They work with power companies and telecommunication companies to ensure that they're ready to move into an area affected by a natural disaster. They work with state and local governments to make sure that technology and other capabilities are in place so that they can be prepared to deal with a major weather event such as that in Texas right now. They work with the National Weather Service to look at forecasts and then to work with local emergency managers so that when you have a dangerous forecast, those emergency managers are prepared to send out the alarm to the citizens and to effectuate evacuations. So we've already seen a significant part of the FEMA workforce, whether it be full-time employees, government employees, or contractors, leave. I think the days ahead will tell us whether those vacancies are having an impact on the ability for responders to respond and recover from this natural disaster. I'll also say that while they're dealing with this in Texas, we now have Tropical Storm Chantal that's causing major flooding in North Carolina. So the other reason why FEMA is important is it can coordinate across multiple states at once to deal with disasters. And
John, NOAA said it sent out, multiple alerts on this thing ahead of time, giving plenty of warning. The president has activated FEMA to help in the storm zone. So are you seeing any of these federal cuts having an impact right now?
We don't know yet, Diane. I mean, right now the primary focus is, clearing away debris, getting responders in there so they can rescue people who may still be alive. Very quickly, it's going to turn to, recovery operations. But they're going to have to study what happened here. I mean, we have over 80 people who are now dead, and I fear that those numbers are going to go up. So whenever you have a high casualty event such as this, we owe it to the public. We owe it to those grieving families to go out there and figure out, did everything work as it was supposed to? What can we improve? What can we do to make sure that these types of tragedies don't happen in the future?
And we are asking all those questions. John Cohen, thank you.